Ebro, Lauren Rosenberg, welcome back to the show. Chloe's back on the program. Chloe, baby, yes.
Hi.
You want to start with the album? You want to start with acting? You got a lot going on.
Whatever you want to do.
Trouble in Paradise, amazing album.
Thank you. You like it?
I really like it a lot.
Thank
YG
you.
Marley's on there, your sister's on there, Anderson .Paak record I love, the Ty Dolla $ign record I love. I like Temporarily Single.
Mm-hmm.
I spent some time with this album.
I appreciate that.
Congrats on that. And on the music thing,
Mm-hmm.
seeing you and your sister record together, will there be collaborative projects again?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%. We were just talking about that the other day.
Dope.
So we're never shying away from that. And
Good.
I think it'll be even more special because we've been exploring our individuality and our strengths, and then it'll make it that much special.
Whoa.
You guys have
and
done
living your individuality and your own lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
completely.
guys have done like a really nice job. It feels like as kind of child stars,
Yeah.
essentially.
True.
Evolving, finding your own space while still feeling connected.
Exactly.
You guys, I feel like it's can be tricky. I don't know why for people to navigate, but I feel like you guys have done a really seamless job of that.
Yeah, it's working because we're being authentic to ourselves and we're not like trying to make something that it's not. So it works out perfectly that way.
Was there a crossroads that you recall that you could share with us where it was like, yo, acting, I'm not a child anymore. I gotta go do this is what I feel now. And did you fight for that? Was there a fight? Was there a push or?
There wasn't a fight to be grown per se. It was a fight to just be heard. I think with myself internally, as well as like proving to people like, hey, like I really love music. I am special as well on my own. And I think that was really it. And especially finding the self-confidence internally. But I feel like the fight of, seeing me grow up, that has been more of an external thing from like an audience's perspective.
Right.
I think I've just been living and my music will progress. I'm just telling my story and my thoughts and stuff like that. So it's never been calculated to be like, oh, I purposely want to be more grown.
Rosenberg and Laura yelled at me one of the early Instagram posts you put up where you were singing and, things were being seen and you were being an adult and living your life. And I was on the radio and I was like, nah, this can't happen. They were like, you're not her dad. I was like, I just feel like she's growing up too fast.
Yeah, it was. I was just like, it just felt like overstepping. I was like, I think she's got this.
And he was like, I think she's a grown up. I was like, I'm not sure.
But on that note, it is funny you say that because I do remember when 5 years ago, whatever it was, you came up and I remember all of my jokes were like sex symbol Chloe Bailey. Like I kept saying that because you'd broken the internet a few times. In retrospect, it does kind of now look like, even if that wasn't intentional, that moment did sort of do something. You know what I mean? Like to separate yourself and be like, I am not exactly the little girl who I saw a few years earlier singing the national anthem with my sister. And so do you think it did end up kind of playing a part in your individualism?
Of course. I mean, I'm not blind or dumb. I definitely feel like that's where people like to box me into. But, when you think about it, I'm 26, I'm 4 years from 30. But I think because people have grown up with my sister and I, it's like you can't not see me as a little girl.
Right.
So I think that's what it is. And I think it'll probably be even more years from now when people can actually accept it. And that's okay.
But to me, I see it the opposite. To me, I kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah.
I just think it ended up being sort of like an effective way of being like, I'm my
shaking
own
the
person.
table.
Yeah, it shook the table a little bit.
It shook the table.
And at
Shook
first,
the table.
it's annoying.
I mean, a lot of things were shaking, including the table, but you know what I'm saying? The table also was shaking.
Yes.
I think also the contrast, though, because her sister's doing like the Little Mermaid. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then she's breaking the internet for just being a grown woman. So
But now here you guys are, landed in this
Mom,
spot.
very grown.
yes.
Both very grown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Your sister's a mom now.
Yes, the
You were
best mom.
And you were telling us how much you love ant life.
Oh, yes. Halo is my light. I feel like he's my baby. I always see, you can tell from my face. He just makes me so happy. I'll have my phone show pictures of him. Like, you see him here?
Yo, man.
No, it hits
Aunts and
different.
uncles they get to do that part. And
Yes.
parents get a little bit of that too, but we also get the late nights, the early mornings, the, frustrations at, whatever time, not eating, the diapers, aunts and uncles just
We get it
together.
easy. We get it easy.
Enjoy.
Yeah, but I gotta say something for the parents that are just
No,
like,
I'm
there's
happy.
so few parents. They're not
no,
represented well
it's just,
out here.
grandma shows up and disrupts the whole sleep cycle.
Yeah.
Aunts and uncles show up like it's just a party all the time,
Yeah.
and then they leave.
Yes,
right, that's
it's
right.
true. And you know what? I will be the party that comes through, and maybe that's why he always smiles when I enter
That's
the
right,
room.
yes.
And I'm like, you know what? I will spoil you. I will give you everything you want.
But it really does hit different. Like it does. That connection is you meet other children throughout your life, and then your sibling has a child, and it does hit you in a way that you were like, whoa, I didn't know I could feel this intensely.
Yes. It's true.
It is a really neat thing.
I think you're in Fight Night, yes?
Yes.
Oh yes, she sure.
We just
is.
had
she
Will Packer
is.
on.
I love him. Shout out to him.
No, how was that experience? You've done acting before. You've done series before. Have you done a movie yet?
Yes, several.
Which movies?
Praise This was recent with Will Packer.
Right,
That's how we
okay,
got
okay. So you guys
introduced
worked
to each
together
other.
before.
We just won an Image Award for that, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah, very dope.
And
Was
from-
that where the relationship started?
Yes, that is exactly where the relationship started. And that's why I love him. You know, I got the email to audition for another role originally on the show. And they came back and they were like, we want you as Lena. And I was like, heck yeah, anything with Will's name attached. You know, he put so much love into it. And at that moment, Kevin Hart's and Samuel L. Jackson's name was attached, and of course
Those
that
are good
was
names.
right. I was like, oh yeah, of course.
Seems reputable.
But then
Yeah.
you see Taraji, Don Cheadle, Terrence Howard, and it's like the list continued to build. And it was one of those things where you would be like, oh yeah, I'm filming Fight Night, and everyone was like, oh, how's that? So it's pretty cool that, you know, I'm really honored and grateful that I get to be a part of such a cultural defining show for real.
Right. Well, and I didn't know it was based on a true story. When he came through, I didn't know about this party that took place after the Ali fight in 70,
Yep.
1970, I think it was.
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta, yeah, and mad people got robbed and the whole thing.
Crazy
Yes,
story. When
it
we heard
is.
it, I was like, I somehow missed this story as
Same,
well.
same.
Yeah.
I mean,
How
I'm
would-
stoked for it.
How were the conversations among you guys as actors, like when you guys were like digging deeper into the story?
We were just shocked, number one. Number two, we were having the best time on set. And it's pretty cool that I get to play the only girl a part of the robbers, which is nice. You know, I'm the wolf in sheep's clothing. So I can't wait for you guys to dig deeper into Lena.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like, you know, with what we know of you now, from the little girl to becoming a woman, this doesn't feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, looks can be deceiving
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly.
And don't underestimate a woman.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. On the acting side and balancing music and acting, what is music still your primary?
Oh,
and
yeah.
acting is kind of like I get to do it, hobby, another one of my interests? Or?
It's not really a hobby. I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm taking it more seriously, to be honest. I'm falling more in love with it because there's such beauty in being authentic and raw and real and letting people see your imperfections. And like on stage, you know, you can't really mess up a note. You don't want to crack. You don't want to mess up the steps. It's more about being more put together and more perfect. But with acting, it's the complete opposite. So it fuels like different parts of my spirit, to be honest.
I love that. You and your sister also coming up under Parkwood too,
Yes.
and working with Beyoncé all these years. How's that relationship these days? She's still somebody you can bounce ideas off of, get a meeting with,
Absolutely.
and say, hey, I'm my path, and
Yeah.
kind of get advice?
Absolutely. Shout out to her. It was just her birthday yesterday.
I was going to
too.
ask, do you send something for Beyonce?
Oh yeah, I always have to send flowers.
That's very nice.
But I really, really love her and appreciate her and truly grateful, honestly.
That's a great. To be able to have that in proximity of your professional career and somebody to chart. I mean,
Someone who's at the top of her
yeah,
game.
period.
You know?
And the work ethic part.
Yes, it's really cool to see.
You still cooking beats?
Yes.
Still producing?
Yes.
Did you? I didn't look at the credits on this album. Are you producing on
I
this album?
produced I'll Never Let You Go, and
Okay.
then I collabed with a bunch of really dope producers. I executive produced the project.
Dope.
You know, I produced the transitions and stuff. So it's been cool, like dibbling and dabbling and learning and being a sponge as well.
Did you ever have a period in between the Chlöe and Halle moment and the Chloe Bailey moment when you weren't sure that the transition would get pulled off, from being sort of a child star to being now this multifaceted, multi-hyphenate, as they say,
Yeah.
sort of talent? Like, because you sort of transitioned in my purview of like, you're very much a part of the culture. Like the award shows, the credible R&B singer, credible actor. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, was there ever a concern of like, I had this machine happening early on where we were all doing stuff. Am I gonna make it just as an adult star?
I feel like that doubt creeps in every day, to be honest with you. You're only as good as your last move. And people judge everything so critically. So I feel like that self-doubt always creeps in every day, but you have to persevere, and your love for the craft has to overcome that.
Do you think you get to a point ever, and I guess you wouldn't know yet, but do you think you'll get to a point where you just like fully accept that like you're not an imposter and people will enjoy your work and you are just here to stay?
Do you think I'm an imposter?
I do not. I think I'm an imposter.
Why do you feel that way?
Well, I think everybody, to speak to what you were just saying, I always feel like, oh, well, if I didn't have the job that I had, would anyone want to do an interview with me? Would anyone want to have a conversation? Would we be sitting here right now? You know what I mean? Like you just said. For me, no, it hasn't all the way gone away yet. I think that's a scary part about entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Do you get to an age, though, where you're just like, you know what? This is just, as long as I'm putting out content, people are going to enjoy what I do.
I feel like that in the entertainment industry, we have to remember that this is our job. And there is a personal side to us. We are human beings. We're not robots. We're not machines. And I think people base off what they see of us externally in this industry as who we are. And I think that's a tricky thing too, because when you're being vulnerable and honest in your music and your art, and people see you and they see the done up version of you, they're like, okay, this is who you are. And yes, it's a part of who I am. But then there's also a part that people never see, the real side. Like, I'm such a nerd. I'm constantly in sweats. Like, this is the done up version of me. And it's still me, but this is the work me. Like, we have a part of us that we present for work. We always put on our best. We go, when we go to our interview, we have our resume. Hello, I'm this, I'm that. That's still you, but then you also have the more laid back, relaxed side, and it doesn't make you an imposter. You just have multiple versions. You know?
I thought it was interesting that you said the thing about that acting allows you to kind of show even more of yourself. Because I feel like on the outside, we think as a musician is where you show it all. But to your point, when you're on stage, it's not the regular, it's not you on the sweats hitting the MPC.
Yeah.
It's you dolled up doing a performance. That was an interesting thought to me, that you actually are able to tap into the real stuff when you act.
It's a job to entertain, but it's also what I love. So it's like a catch-22, you know?
Yeah.
Is there any part of your work and your career, looking back to the little girl who wanted to do this? And I'm only asking this for, because everyone wants to be an entertainer. Everybody wants to sing. Everybody wants to be an actor. Everybody wants to do this work. And it is work, though. Like, is there something when you look back at the little girl who was naive and this is what she wanted to do, and now you're more seasoned, that you would tell that little girl, like, to be aware of or to watch out for or to be prepared for?
I would tell her to continue to fight and keep that fire that's burning within you, no matter how many times people try to blow it out. That's what I'd tell her. It's crazy because I look at videos, even just from a couple years ago. And yes, I'm a little bit more disciplined now, a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more polished, but there's something so fierce and raw about that fire. And I would tell her to not let anyone blow it out. That's what I'd tell her.
In music, is there somewhere you want to go sonically that you haven't yet gone that we might get from you? Or is there something that you make that you're like, nah, I'd never put this out? Like, nah.
You listen to it. And
honestly,
it's dope. You love it, but nah, they don't want that from me.
Honestly, the sky is the limit. I am such a music nerd and a music lover. I really don't see any stone being unturned. I think right now, because I've been obsessed with the Caribbean and St. Lucia specifically, I'm definitely going to explore, more Afro beats and dance hall for sure. You can kind of sonically hear
some of that's in the album.
Increments of it in Trouble in Paradise. And that's where I created it. I was writing away my troubles in paradise. And I think that's why it's so important to ground yourself. I found my sanctuary there where, instead of finding so much validation in this industry and who people see you in this career, it's also about your heart, your character, and your spirit. And that's what I found there. So it was really nice to, I flew out my engineer, producer, and we just created in like this beautiful villa with the view of the ocean. And I haven't had that much fun creating in such a long time.
It sounds fantastic.
It was just like freedom. It was freedom. So that's why I really love this project.
Yeah, let's play something. Pick a record. Let's play.
Oh, I'd like to play.
Is there like a single right now?
Yes, I would like to play Temporarily Single.
Tell us about temporarily single. Let me read
Yes.
the lyrics. I'm sure in these
You're
lyrics
gonna
there's something.
Figure out what she's talking about here.
Yeah.
Because it is an interesting word to put in front of
Temporarily
single.
single. Because I mean, by choice. Because I was just thinking about it as you were talking. Like, you're so down to earth. Like, that's why we love you.
Thank
but
you.
how do you balance trying to just be a regular ass person when you can't even go to a basketball game with a friend because all of a sudden, new couple alert, do this, and you're like, wait, I just went to a game with my friend. That's it.
So that's the tricky part. I feel like I'm an introvert, but it kind of made me even a bit more of a hermit because I don't want to be attached to just every name just because I'm seen out with them. Like,
And then you look up and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, multiple people now have made up thoughts about you. with
yeah.
different people.
And if you
That's
try to
trash.
clear it up, people are like, oh no,
She's hiding it.
Yeah, she's hiding
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So it's kind of made me a bit more of a hermit, but I just put it all into the music. And, with temporarily single, it's like my other way of saying like it's complicated. Like I feel like before you meet someone and get in another relationship, you all kind of have like that somebody, that comfort space. And so that's what this song is about.
Okay.
Reading the lyrics,
here we go.
there's things obviously
Okay.
I won't read because we're on the radio, but is this a true story?
Yes.
It reads like he has a man or he has a woman also.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah, that's a whole other different story. Not this song. It reads like he has a woman though.
Events were a bit exaggerated. We
Okay.
all have somebody.
Okay,
When
that's
your
right.
somebody they're not really like together,
They
but
have a complicated, you have a complicated.
yes.
So if this is a true story and you were temporarily single and this is your somebody to go to for the knockdown, for the lay them down, smack them, yak them when you are temporarily single, did you end up going back to the person that you had broken up with for this rendezvous?
It was inspired by true events. I
Got
would
it.
say that.
Let's say that.
Yes.
It
It was.
that's as far as we
Yeah.
can go here.
The lyrics tell the story.
Right. You don't need to snitch on
I'm just
everything
saying,
about it.
bro.
With
Hey.
a little razzle dazzle.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
razzle dazzle in here. Yeah.
Roz Landau.
Temporarily single Chlöe off the album.
Speaking of which, good transition here. Has seeing your sister solidified you wanted to be a mom? Do you know if you want to be a mom? Does that interest you?
I would love to be a mom one day. Not right now. I still have a little bit more growing up to do. I
you
want to
got
think
plenty of
about
time.
myself a little more. Be a
I'm
little
sure
selfish.
and being close to your sister going through this, it made it even.
She's handling it with such grace.
Right.
Like she is the poster for like a great businesswoman and mom at the
Right,
same time.
right.
So she hasn't made me shy away from the fact.
But you get to see how hard it is, though. It is not easy.
Of course, it's not easy.
not
Shout
easy.
out to all of the mothers and the women. It's just so spectacular. But I'm like, why rush it when I have Halo? I can just call her and hug my little baby.
I did appreciate how honest though your sister was about going through like postpartum depression and being like open about it because not a lot of people even want to admit that they're going through things. So I just appreciated that she shared the beauty of it, but also like looking at all duckies and bunnies.
Yeah.
How was it
honest.
supporting her through that?
I always support my sister through whatever it is. So that's nothing.
What's your guys' age difference again?
A year and a half.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
still young. too.
super close. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't ready at 27 years old. That was not.
Was that when you had yours?
I don't have any.
Do you want a kid?
I do.
When?
Soon.
When the time is right.
When the time is right. I only got married a year ago.
Oh.
So, but I think back to 27.
My prediction in
ahead.
like 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
2 years.
Write this down.
and like in Austin Powers when they had the mini me, you guys can do that for Halloween.
Look, she's got Halloween outfits and everything.
Yes.
I feel shade.
That's not shade.
'Cause I'm bald and I don't
baby
want
will
to
be
be
bald.
No, you just.
I don't want to
No, but the baby will be bald for sure.
True. The baby's going to be bald.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
like
the
it.
babies are like mostly bald when they come
Mostly.
out.
Sometimes they come out though.
It's
My
okay,
oldest
just
came
slick
out
it
full
back.
head. My oldest
Cosplay.
came out full head, and Selassie is struggling.
She's got
front-
That's a beautiful
struggle,
name.
struggle edges in the front.
That's okay.
She'll
When
get
I was
there.
a baby, I had struggle edges.
Oh, me
Bad.
too. I didn't
Bad.
have hair till I was 2, and now it's all gone again. So
That's okay. You rocking it. It's good. Y'all rocking it. Y'all rocking it.
listen, we love you. We're proud
Thank
of you.
you.
Congrats on all your success.
Excited for
Send our
Fight
love
Night,
to your
too.
sister.
Yes, I hope
Y'all
you like
check
it.
Fight Night on Peacock. It's a series, and high five, kid.
Thank you.
Because making the transition is very fucking
Thank
hard.
you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we here.
Give it up, Chloe, one
here.
time.
Thanks, Chloe.